What's up, poddies? What's up, podcast listeners? Hopefully, everybody's doing good. I wanted to talk today about good news, about an opportunity for people who are looking for work to be able to find work in 6 months. If you're struggling to find a job, this might be an option for you. Now, you guys know, if you've listened to my episodes, I don't blow steam or smoke or whatever. I don't, say things just to make it sound better than what it actually is. So I'm going to speak to my own experience, and you can see if it applies to you or not. Now, I live in Los Angeles, California, and I want to talk about this program. So, I took from mid-November starting this course where I believe class was 8 to 4 every day. I don't even remember the times, but it was every day, online, weekdays. And then I think there was at least one day where we had to go in person, and I'm in LA County, and the class basically was November to end of February, and we basically finished that class end of February. We started the job application process before the class ended. I had some interviews rolling in before the class ended. One of the companies I interviewed with, the recruiter was super helpful. There's a recruiter that was connected to the work site and a recruiter connected to the actual course itself. And then we basically had multiple just portions of the class. I don't really know how to explain it, but basically I'm kind of tired at the moment while I'm talking about this, so I'm not going to be very well spoken, but I just would rather put the content out there because it has come into reality that I was able to get hired at a site. So 6 months, and today is February 18th of 2026. So let me dive into some of the details, and then I'll be posting. I don't know if I'm going to post every day or just often, so I can tell you guys more of the details, just kind of break down the areas of what happened, kind of like a general timeline. I do have an episode that I have posted in the past, and there's a QR code connected to that episode. If you scan that code, or if you go to the link in that episode, you'll be able to see more information about what the course was, what the program was, all the specific upcoming dates, because I believe they have cohorts. But it's been approximately 6 months since I started that class, and I've had multiple interviews through that class experience, and one of those interviews I landed the job. And I think I might have been able to potentially land jobs in maybe one or two of the other interviews, but with the same company who's hiring. So, and I'm not going to talk details about names of people or names of instructors, no names of, class members. I don't want to talk about people's personal details, anything like that. I really just don't want to speak about things that are going to sound unprofessional. But I do want to talk about the reality of everything. And it looks like, let me see, 2 2 months ago. Let me see the date. At least as far as the YouTube podcast posts. This episode with all the links posted on March 11th of 2026. And let me see in the actual podcast, the Gaming Compute podcast. So Gaming Compute on YouTube and Gaming Compute on Spotify. Some of the episodes have like this green looking kind of like logo theme with kind of a laptop that shows like a finance, kind of like something related to finance, and then some of the other ones have like retro, it's kind of like neon theme color, like retro, like computers and old school devices. When I try to post more about the tech stuff, I try to use the thumbnail that has the more neon looking colors. The ones that are kind of more about like side hustles, I try to post it with more green looking colors, but it's not 100% that way all the time. It kind of just depends on what I'm doing, what I'm posting, and where I'm at. So I'm going to be hydrating while I talk about this because the day has been hot and I have not drank my quota of water. My internet's moving slow anyways, so we're waiting. So let's see. As far as the Spotify podcast for Gaming Compute, it looks like the episode that I'm speaking of, wow, I can only see 10 at a time. Please forgive the car alarms and the crows in the background. There's a lot of noise. So yeah, it looks like March 11th of 2026 was that episode. So March 11 on Spotify and March 11 on YouTube. I wasn't sure if they stagger the posts. I didn't know that they post the same day, but I guess they do. So basically, let's talk about it. So as far as the IT journey, let's see the date that I actually started. I've talked about this a little bit before, but let's see. I can't search, it's not letting me search my email. I know I started in November. I don't remember the exact date, but it was like in the teens or like November 11th or something like that. The last day of class was the last Friday of February 2026, so it went through the new year. Now that was just one cohort. They have a variety of cohorts. Now the appeal of this program is that it's geared to let you take the course. It's geared to let you have the opportunity to take the exams for the CompTIA A+ for IT support, with 2 chances for the exams to be paid for free. So CompTIA A+ has Core 1 and Core 2. If you pass Core 1 exam, then you've finished the first exam, and if you've passed the Core 2 exam, you finish the second exam, and you get the certification once you've finished both. You could pay out of pocket. It's nearly $300 per exam if you pay out of pocket. This course, they pay for the exam for you to have 2 attempts to try it. But it doesn't come just like for free. You can't just like sign up. I mean, the class itself is free, but it doesn't come as in free, as in it doesn't take any effort to get in, or free as in it doesn't take any effort to do the class, or free as in it doesn't take any time to study. Like, you're in class all day, and you know, you study pretty much before or after class, and then on weekends, because it's pretty crammed. Like, a lot of people who take courses, they take maybe 16 weeks, and they usually pay what, like somewhere upwards of $15,000 to, like, I'd seen like maybe lower, like $3, $4, $5, $6,000. I think you could go through course careers as well, and that, I don't know if it's self-paced. You'd have to check, don't quote me if it's self-paced or not. I know they do have courses that are self-paced, but I don't know if their IT support is self-paced. I don't know if it's IT or cybersecurity or what it is, but course careers has an option that is relatively affordable that I think you could get on a payment plan. I don't know if Josh Madakor is still the instructor there, but I think at one point he was, and Josh Madakor himself also has a course, and then there's also courses you could pay out of pocket through, I think it's Google, some kind of Google or Coursera courses. But if you need kind of instructor-led, if you need, you know, help with paying for the exams, and you just need that motivation, and you like a class environment, and you can swing it to be able to spend those months in class. I believe they have winter break and they have summer break. So, sorry guys, I totally rearranged my whole entire desktop. It was freeing up space and just deleted a bunch of stuff off of my computer locally. So it's all kind of on an external hard drive that I don't have hooked up right now. And so yeah, I don't really have all the information on hand to the T, but that's basically, you know, you get a summer break if you're doing it in summer, and you get a winter break if you're doing winter. I don't know all the cohorts. There are others. If you end up needing to retake it, I think there are options to retake, maybe in person. I honestly don't know what that looks like when you're done with the course. I don't know anyone who's done that. But I've seen a bunch of emails from the course, and I just figured out why I'm not able to search it. It's because I'm in my Chrome browser for gaming compute and not for my personal email, my professional email account. But you could get the certifications. It's a lot of work though. So let's see. If I hit search with my slow internet, we're still loading. I'm telling you guys. Slow. Okay. So let me go all the way back to November or October. So I'll tell you the whole process. I started in October interviewing. And interviewing for this course. So it wasn't like I just out of nowhere like started I didn't just like start just all of a sudden. I started in October, so way back in October, with the interviewing process to get accepted to the course. And then, before the interviewing process, I went and learned about the information, and I did all of the information that was expected on the introductory sheet, and I basically submitted what's called tech prep work, which are 2 sets of assignments, basically online courses that you do to get 2 different certifications that are tech related. It's all online. You do it just all from home. It's all completely free. Well, if you go through the courses links, it's all completely free to do it. And then I think my interview was October 27th of 2025. And so whatever I was doing, I had submitted pretty much everything before that interview date. And then sorry, I gotta go back again. In November, the course started, and they sent a let me see, I guess the kickoff meeting for the people who got accepted. Let me see, I'm trying to figure out when I actually got accepted. They just send so many emails. This is all, let me see. It was November. I want to say it was like near the 11th. Oh my goodness. Every time I go back, it takes me all the way to May. So, sorry guys, but yeah, it was definitely November when we started, and I got the acceptance letter not too long after. After I finished the interview. So let me see. And at that point in time, it looks like I was still taking interviews from certain types of jobs, according to my emails. The tech prep work, I think, was for, what's it called, through Cisco, for networking, and for, I think, computer basics. I was doing that in late October. I got the digital credentials for both of those. I submitted it to the onboarding, and okay, it looks like I got an acceptance letter within a week's time of interviewing, and I believe there was like a phone interview before the Zoom interview. October was a busy month. And then it says, hello, you've been accepted into the IT support program at Perscolas. That starts on November 10th, 2025. To confirm your acceptance, please complete this form before October 29th of 2025. So I had interviewed and needed to complete a bunch of paperwork even after the interview. And there was a lot of, not really back and forth, but a lot to just like submit. So that was the beginning phase. Yeah, so class started November 10th, and I think there was I don't know what it was called. So it looks like through Networking Academy, the tech prep work was for computer hardware basics. I think there were two. I don't know what the other one was. Operating system basics. So I got both of those badges. You can download them on Networking Academy through Cisco once you finish those, and you get like a contact person that you can like upload everything to these forms. Now the interview process, the screening process, there were multiple appointments in October. I believe there was some paperwork that I submitted that was like resume form. There was some other stuff submitted that was like kind of like worksheets about like professional development, some things about like plans, like how do you study, like how do you motivate yourself, what do you do if you need assistance, like how are you going to support yourself financially. For some people, I know they used a loan opportunity. I don't know how people specifically qualify for it, but in the orientation on the kickoff day, they talk about that. They also have learning support, which is like social workers or therapists that kind of help you scheduling appointments. They have financial advisors who are able to help you learn about taxes and help you learn about, basic budgeting. They have the ability to connect people to, if you qualify, all this stuff you have to qualify for it, but if you qualify for like SNAP benefits and things like that. I mean, the reason why I'm talking about this is because I know people are struggling out there. I mean, I'm one of those people who has a degree in a field where I worked long term. Didn't really want to stay in that field. It wasn't the best fit for me. Was kind of bouncing back and forth between it, being like, these are the only jobs that I can get, but I don't really think they're good for my health and my balance of lifestyle. And I just needed something else, but nothing else was working out. So I was like, I just kind of sought the resources in my local area and was able to get a flyer from a local job support site, and they connected me with a job counselor. I got two different sites, one through WorkSource and another site, and they were helping me with job counselors. They had access to like job fairs, and they would send different spots to apply for that were hiring, but they also had some training to hire programs. Now, I cannot say that 100% just because you do the class, and even if you get the certification, that you're going to get hired in 6 months. I'm talking about my own personal experience. But in our class, I mean, this program does have a good track record. They say 80% get hired. I don't know the timeline, but you have access to all that type of support. I don't know about the SNAP benefits. Like some stuff, if if it's connected to like SNAP benefits or something, you're gonna have what do you call it? If it's connected to SNAP benefits, you're gonna have um, like yeah, you have to still follow what the government says with all that kind of stuff. I think our class had 25 students or so by the end, somewhere between 25 to 28. I think we maybe started out with maybe 36 or so, and then we like dropped down by the very end, and then I think once we got to the like a certain point, I'm trying to like think by memory. Once we got to a certain point, we basically how do I say this? Like, yeah, the amount of people that finished weren't the amount of people that started. I don't know anyone who got kicked out, to my knowledge, but I also am not very nosy and gossipy, so if they did, I wouldn't have been aware. Now, there are people who are trying to see who's working, different people working. I'm seeing one of my classmates here is posting that his first day went really well. This is my first time checking back in our class Discord for a week or so. I've been so busy. But he's saying his first day went really well. He's showing his desk in the office. I remember this student did really well. He got his certification. He ended up passing the tests, I think, within the course time. Some people retook one or both tests. Here's another lady saying that she is working and another guy who is in my group, he's working, I think, in an aerospace site, so that's already 3 people. And let's see, my internet might be too slow. Let me see. Let me go back. Here's the 4th guy. One of the guys I met on the first day. The 5th guy, who is another guy in my group. So it's already 5 of us. Just that I'm seeing in this one chat. Now I think there's maybe, okay, if I include this guy, myself, there's a total of 7 of us that are going to be at the same company. So if I take out myself and this other guy who I already counted for my group that's going to be working at the same site, that's like 10 of us. 10 of us hired out of 26 that finished the class, and that's just of the people who are posting in the chat. Not everybody in the class is in this chat, like they don't often post. So if I say like how many did I say? Sorry, like, did I say 10 or did I say 8? Jeez. But let me see. If our class finished with 28 people, 90% hired would be 25.2 people. And 22.4 hired would be like 80% of people. So I can count maybe about 10 of us that I know for sure. Some other people I don't really talk to regularly too much. So I would say it's almost half of the class so far that's been hired within that amount of time. Now this isn't the only cohort. There are other cohorts. Some classes were in person, but when I applied, the in-person class, which I think is 2 to 4 weeks shorter, I don't remember how many weeks shorter, but 2 to 4 weeks shorter than the online class. The in-person class, where you go on site every weekday, is or maybe it's like 2 or 3 days a week out of 5 days, out of 5 weekdays. It's either Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, or something like that. I misspoke. It's not. I don't think it's every day. It's like hybrid, and I don't know how big their cohort is, but I think they're all about the same size. But it had a wait list, and the one I was offered either one, but I chose online mostly because it was convenient, and also because it was it was convenient, and it was available. I didn't want to risk getting on a wait list and having to wait even longer, because I think there's like a multiple month wait. Like I don't think it's like 1 month and then like the next month a new cohort starts. I think there's a pretty lengthy wait. So I'm trying to keep these episodes kind of short, but I think that's the basics of how the application process went, as far as like just basics, as far as like getting in. Didn't cost me anything but time. It cost me time, and then getting to and from the exam site. And I think the on-site mandatory day, I think because I was running a little bit late, I parked right near the campus building, and I paid $20 parking in downtown LA. And I think some people didn't go. They were able to like get in an exemption because they couldn't for some reason or another. But they did say it was mandatory, so I didn't really want to play with that, because I was like, if I can make it, even if I don't really want to spend the time going, and then they fed us really well, and it was really fun. We got professional photoshops that day, a photo shoot that day. Got to meet some of the classmates in person. Some of them I saw even at exams. These are people that I really got to like, especially my group members. I really got to like all of them. And then the classmates, I really had a good time with them. The recruiter was nice. The instructor was nice. There was a TA that was nice, or like an assistant instructor who was, I guess, in training to be an instructor, but that was their job. So some people who go through the program can actually get hired as staff for the actual site. And we also had a professional development coach that we met with every Wednesday. So I'm going to talk about some of the other phases of things, and then I'm going to try to keep these near to under 30 minutes. I don't want to make them like excessive, because I like to ramble, but alright, let me talk more about it in the next episode. But I hope you can check things out. You don't have to use my link, But if you do, I do get a small amount of a kickback from that, because it is an affiliate link. But you can do what you want. I'm not gonna be upset. You gotta do what you gotta do. What's best for you. And if you would like to assist me for providing you with information, then you can go ahead and use my link if you're gonna apply. You don't have to use my link if you don't want to. I'm not trying to badger people, but it could be helpful. And then I don't know, if you guys do want to reach out to me, whether or not you use the link or not, I'm at Gmail, gamingcompute@gmail.com. I'm not saying that I check it regularly, because I don't. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm probably more likely to check Gaming Compute on LinkedIn. And I'm also at Gaming Compute IG for Instagram, but I don't really check these, to be honest. So I might need to start checking them, but feel free to reach out to me if you have questions. I can't give you questions as in cheating advice. I can't give you like any kind of specific information that's gonna get you more in the door than anybody else. I don't even think I have that kind of knowledge, but I'm more than willing to at least point you towards somebody you could talk to and call if you have questions, or if you just have like a general question about my personal experience. I'm not planning on really blasting things online, but if there's something that is more specific that I could possibly answer offline, I will at least give you a general answer if I can. But I try to keep things with confidentiality purposes, because this is still like a new professional area for me, and I'm not trying to be like on anybody's naughty list or break any rules or say anything about any company or any person that's gonna jeopardize them or myself. I know better. So I like to practice professionalism when I'm talking about these kind of things. So, but yeah, contact me if you want to. I probably check my Gaming Compute LinkedIn more than I check any of these other spaces for socials, but you can add me on there. I think my Gaming Compute LinkedIn is also linked to my personal LinkedIn. So, and I think I only have like one follower on there. It's not like it's anything that deep, but yeah, I'm trying to help people out. I'm still under that like helping profession type of mentality. I like to provide some positivity out there, because I don't know about you, but whenever I look for information about work support or career development, it's all negative. Everybody's complaining, and I get it. I'm complaining too. Like, it's not fair out there. It's not nice or easy out there. There's not like a good way to apply if you're a new student. There's not a good way to apply if you have a degree. If you have a lot of work experience, it doesn't make it really that much easier to get work necessarily. It's easy to get screened out by ATS systems, but as far as what I know, what I've learned, and some of my information might even be outdated, because things these days shift so quickly, but I'm here to share whatever's going to help people make money. Whether it's little eBay things, whether it's apartment gig shopping, whether it's Uber Eats, delivering food, whatever it is that you're trying to do. I've got episodes about that kind of stuff too, but that are already posted. You can find them. But yeah, if you're trying to go a route that seems like so far seems like so far there's a good track record. This is something I can vouch for on my own personal behalf that it worked for me, and it's worked for at least almost half of our class as far as my knowledge to the people that I speak to. So if your odds are about 50% already, just with the people I've talked to, and I don't know all the other classmates, what they're doing, how they're doing, but just with the active people on Discord, I can tell that a lot of people have gotten hired within this 6-month period. Like, I'm one of the later ones. I think all these other people have been already working before I was, or hired before I was. So yeah. Alright, so that's it for this moment. Thanks for listening.